Time now for the RV Podcast Interview of the Week. Interesting, entertaining, and helpful information about the RV lifestyle. Here's Mike with this week's interview.
This week in our Interview of the Week, we continue our series of interviewing various RV influencers, people who have YouTube channels or blogs or are somehow involved in reporting on the RV industry. This week, our guest is Anthony Nalli. Anthony is the executive producer of a brand new Discovery and PBS show called The RVers. And we got a chance to sit down and talk with Anthony about that program, but more importantly, his love of RVing and what it has done to his lifestyle, how it has improved. We welcome to the program Anthony Nalli. Well, Anthony, thank you so much for making time for us on this. It's a delight to spend some time with you.
My pleasure, Mike. Absolutely a real honor to be here with you.
First, though, let's start with a broad description. For those who don't know what the RVers are, and that's hard to believe that there'd be many, but there are some, I'm sure. Let's talk about this, and then we'll get into your story and how it all came about.
Well, sure thing. The RVers is a new television series that premiered in November of 2019 on Discovery Channel and is now airing also on PBS across the country, on Fun Roads TV, and digitally on Apple TV, YouTube TV, Google Play, Microsoft Xbox, Vudu, Amazon Prime, and on Premiere Day, speaking of Apple TV, on Premiere Day, it reached the #1 spot for nonfiction titles, beating Oak Island and This Week Tonight with John Oliver. So
wow.
we're pretty proud of that.
Now, the title, The RVers, Loving, Living, walk us through the premise of this series.
Well, the title, The RVers, really, it's a very simple title. And it really comes from the series that it spun from, which is The Aviators, which is our other TV show that we've had for the past decade that has become the world's most popular aviation TV series. It airs in over 100 countries to over 50 million viewers, including over 10 million weekly viewers on PBS. Very simple title, but it, I think, says what it is. And the tagline of Loving Living is just really, to me, what RVing is. It's changed my life, and it's enabled me to really live my life, and I am loving living.
How did it come about? Now, you, very successful producer, The Aviators, you are first and foremost, though, an RVer yourself.
Absolutely. I do TV shows about things that are important to me, that I'm passionate about, and that have made an impact on my life. And since I was a tyke, I've always loved the concept of RVing, even though I didn't know anything about it. Our family never RV'd. But there was a show when I was a kid, a Saturday morning show on CBS called Arc 2. I think it was like a post-apocalyptic little craft that roamed the earth in a little mobile science lab. And to me, that was an RV. So if we had a fridge box or a new appliance that we had that came in a big box, I would invariably cut holes in it and draw things on it to turn it into one of two things, either an airplane or an RV. And so I've always had the passion for both of those things. So why did it take so long for me to get into RVing? I don't know.
When did you get into it?
In 2015. So for someone who's 53 years old now and has had kind of an itch for RVing since I was probably 7 or 8 years old, just from this little TV show that really wasn't RV related at all, why did it take me more than 40 years to do it? You know, we sort of dipped our toe in the RV bath, as it were, and then backed off, you know? I mean, if you don't know anything about RVing, you can be very intimidated by the vast choices that are available. And we would go to an RV show or a dealer and just get overwhelmed by the amount of choices. And then we would say, okay, well, let's go and digest that and think about it for a couple of days. And then 10 years goes by. And unfortunately, that happened a couple of times, and that's way too much time lost.
2015 comes. Now, we're looking at you in your Class B Active 2.0.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of 2 RVs you have.
It is, and it's not the first 2 RVs we had. We actually started in a used Class A toy hauler, an Outlaw, a Damon Outlaw, now Thor Outlaw. And we loved it. We absolutely loved it. And, we were seeing so much of the country, flying into a city and doing some filming there for the aviators, and then flying out, and then flying to another city and filming and flying out. So we were going to a lot of places and seeing absolutely nothing but airports.
That is so. We can certainly relate to that. Most of my career was as an investigative reporter for 40 years, and I was everywhere. They used to take ads out saying I'm the most traveled reporter.
But you'd see nothing.
I just would fly in, parachute journalism, use the beautiful scenery as a backdrop for a stand-up, and then off to the next story. That's how we got into RVing.
Well,
my wife and I wanted to go back and see the world.
Then it's a common story, because we thought if we're going to all these places anyway, and we're spending a lot of time in airports and traveling, why don't we spend a little bit more time and drive to where we're going, spend some time once we're there, take care of business, but then enjoy what that destination has to offer.
What is it that appeals to this lifestyle first to you, and then what is it that the television program conveys to others about this?
Well, we didn't go into this thinking we're going to become YouTubers or we're going to turn this into a TV show. We did this because of an honest passion and a desire to finally see the places that we were traveling to and enjoy them. And we thought we would... we started off full-timing. That wasn't the plan originally, but we thought we're going to be spending so much time away from home. Why not just get rid of the home? Why not just full-time and jump in? And we thought we would full-time for a year and then get back into a house and very likely continue RVing, but just change how we do it. 5 years later, we're still full-timing, and we love it. Not to say full-timing is the way to do it. Any way that you RV is the right way to do it, whatever way works for you. For us, that was our plan. And we wanted to change our plan after a year, but we didn't, because you can do that. You can do whatever you want in RVing. It's ultimately about freedom. But while we were doing our little RVing excursion for a year and seeing things and enjoying things, a strange thing happened. It really was a transformative period in our lives. And speaking for myself, a doctor, just recently I had a physical, and my doctor that I had known for 25 years took my blood pressure, and he said, "Oh my God, your blood pressure has never been so low. You must be living some kind of a fantastic life." And I said, "You know what? I am. I truly am." I used to have a little bit of a nervous thing, a little bit of a twitch in my eye that would occur when the stress levels were getting a little high. Life gets busy for people, and for me that was a manifestation. I like being busy, but for me that was a manifestation that internally I need to maybe cool it for a minute, take a breath. And that little twitch would happen sometimes a couple times a day, almost every single day. And over the last 5 years since I've been RVing, I can count on one hand how many times it's happened. I can remember probably about 3 times. It really is life-altering. It allows you to enjoy your life. And that's where the tagline, Loving Living, comes from. You got to live your life. You have to enjoy your life. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. So we see so many people in our travels, "Oh, you're living my life. You're living my dream. I plan on doing what you're doing when I retire." Why are you waiting? What are you waiting for? Certainly there's people who need to work in a physical location and can't travel, but for those people, there's weekending. There's taking a vacation on the road rather than, flying to the Caribbean or whatnot. There's lots of ways to RV, and all of them are fantastic, and you got to do it. Just do it.
Now, when it came time to pitch the Discovery Channel, this concept for a program, you, of course, had a great track record with the aviators, so they're going to listen to you. But what were their thoughts when you first came up with this idea?
Well, Discovery Channel sort of was not the original plan. We have a long-standing relationship with PBS, And the plan was always right from the beginning to produce the show and give it to the 350 odd PBS stations that are out there and have them do with it what they did with the Aviators. And we're still doing that. But then an opportunity came where Discovery Channel sort of said, hey, we're kind of interested in what you're doing there with the RVers. Do you have something you could show us? And we did. And they loved it. And they thought, well, we'd like to run this show too. So we have a non-exclusive with Discovery, which is why we didn't lose PBS. We just added Discovery Channel, which is tremendous that we can do that. Discovery saw that we had the production quality that we've, I think, become known for over the past decade with the Aviators. And we're catering to a lifestyle that is certainly immense and growing. And that certainly means an audience for them. So PBS is happy, Discovery Channel's happy, we're happy. Hopefully our viewers are happy. I know our hosts and our production team are thrilled, and our sponsors are happy, which is very important to us as well.
And the concept of the show is you have different hosts, kind of anchored by our friends the Geeks,
Right.
Peter and John. And they travel different places. There's different challenges they overcome, different serendipity discoveries. Walk us through all of that.
Yep, you mentioned the RV Geeks, Peter and John. They're hosts of the show. They're also co-executive producers of the show. They're very actively involved. Cherie and Chris of Technomadia were involved in season 1. And Tom and Kate Morton of Morton's on the Move are also hosts on the show. As well as myself. I'm also one of the hosts of the show. A little less involved in season 1. I'll be increasing my involvement moving forward. But the interesting thing is the show really isn't about any of the hosts per se. So it's not sort of a travel log of things that we're doing and look at what I'm having for lunch today. It's not like that. It's really about the lifestyle and about the various challenges that new RVers or even experienced RVers can encounter and hopefully overcome. And the hosts really just serve as facilitators of that information as people with experience who can be conversant in those topics. The show is absolutely not reality-based. We don't drum up any false drama and make all sorts of unusual conflicts that have to be resolved. It's not about that. It's really about real things that happen to real RVers, whether you're new, whether you're experienced, whether you're familiar with every aspect of RVing, which I think very few of us really truly are, or just, little narrow parts of the RVing world. We really want to cover every topic in every space of RVing so that there's always going to be something that a given viewer can pull away from a given segment at any time and think, that's interesting. It's maybe a new aspect of RVing that I'm unfamiliar with that you've interested me in, and I am curious to look into it and learn more about it. It's really just a way to introduce RVing to people who, like me, were dreamers for a very long time, or introduce new concepts relating to RVing to people who perhaps have been RVing for a long time.
Now, when you've been in it certainly long enough to have seen some changes in a very rapidly evolving industry. What has surprised you, and where do you see the big changes and excitement coming over the next few years?
Well, RVing, as I've learned over the past few years, has largely evolved relatively slowly, year over year, decade over decade. But I think there's probably a shift that's in the works. With technology so rapidly evolving in every aspect of our lives, it's very difficult, if not impossible, for that rapid technological advancement to ignore the RVing space. And I think everyone in the RV manufacturing area, from OEMs to third-party producers of products, are looking for ways to, in some cases, truly revolutionize how things are being done. I know we're at a Dometic function here, and I know Dometic is leading the way largely in sort of that evolution and revolution. But they're not the only one. There's a lot of companies that think that things can be done better, different, which is not necessarily a bad thing. and certainly to the benefit of the industry and the community and RVers at large. And I think what's coming up in RVing, I mean, they're talking about self-driving cars and Ubers that fly you to your destination, and pilotless vehicles being a matter of a handful of years away. That's coming to RVing too, self-driving. Not that I have any insight on self-driving RVs or anything, but if that kind of technology exists in the automotive space, in the trucking space, in the aviation space, how can RVing be left behind? It certainly won't be. It's a very exciting time. It really is.
Well, Anthony, we will put links to all of the information about the RVers in our description below. And hey, I just want to thank you for spending some time with us. We have thoroughly enjoyed the program, and we know many of our viewers and listeners will do the same. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It's a real thrill to have done it. I love what you do. Mike and Jen, you do such great work, and it's my pleasure to be working with you today. Thank you.
Well, we hope you enjoyed this interview with Anthony Nalli as much as we did. And we'll put links to the RVers program and more about Anthony in the description below. Meanwhile, we want to thank you so much for watching the interview of the week and invite you to please give it a thumbs up if you like the interview. And don't forget to subscribe to the RV Lifestyle channel right here on YouTube. When you do that, click the little bell icon, and then you'll be notified when we have new videos online. I'm Mike Wendland. Thanks so much for watching, and happy trails.